I just finished filming a unilateral chest workout for you guys. There's been a lot of requests for these types of videos, so I'm gonna start getting to them. If you're liking this type of content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get to it. First off, I just warmed up my rotator cuff and my rear delts with that first exercise I just showed you. Before I get into my working sets with my incline chest press, I like to start off with about 60% of the weight, do about 8 to 12 reps. Somewhere in there, just to make sure that I'm feeling good, I have the movement down. And then I'll up my weight to my working set for 3 to 4 sets. Setting yourself up is extremely important. You want to make sure that when you get back into the position, you're not pinching anything in your shoulders, you're hitting the right ankles, you're stacking your wrists above your elbows and making sure the weight is going straight up. So what I like to do is I like to take in about 80% of a big breath. Make sure I have that intra-abdominal pressure. I like to kick back my right, kick back my left, push it straight up. Keeping my core engaged, pushing my knees out a little bit, and pushing my feet into the ground so I really have a stable grip. And then I'll give you a little more instructional once I get into it. Here we go. 80% breath. Tight, intra-abdominal. Back. Up. Up. Take another breath. Drop the right side. Remember, your wrist above your elbow, stack straight up. You can arch your back a little bit and then press straight up. Keep that elbow right under your wrist and press straight up. Now with your left arm, you're gonna be pushing towards the sky just for stability. Again, you're pressing your feet into the ground, keeping your intra-abdominal pressure, pushing your left into the sky. Your right side, push straight up. By the way, I've finally been able to grow my body without having any pain for 4 years now. I've struggled for 10 years with scoliosis-induced injuries, and it's been a long journey, so I'm happy to finally get through it and be working out normally. I'm going to be making these videos for you guys so that you can get to where I'm at and be feeling 100. So here we go. Oh, this is feeling good. Tuck your shoulders back into the bench, press them down, and remember, keep those wrists stacked above the elbows. Here we go. I just made a pretty big mistake because I haven't done these exercises in a while. But number one tip, always make sure that you're working on your weaker side first. So for me, that's my left side. I should have started off my left, done 10 reps, and then gone to my stronger side, which is my right side, and matched it. Because if you start off with your stronger side, you're gonna burn out by the time you get to your weaker side. There's no way you're gonna be matching it, and you're gonna be increasing that muscle imbalance that you already have. So make sure you start off with your weaker side first, get as many reps as you can, aim for that rep range that you want, and then match it on your stronger side. All right, I got 2 more sets. I'm gonna show you guys one more, starting with my left side, and then matching with my right, and then we'll get into the next exercise. All right, so run through the steps one last time. Again, 80% breath in, hold it, keep that intra-abdominal pressure, right, left, lean back, push up, make sure that your elbows are stacked right beneath your wrists and you're pushing straight towards the sky. Once you get it up, take another recalibration breath, keep that intra-abdominal pressure, and start off with your weaker side first. For me, that's gonna be my left. I'm gonna go for 10 to 12 reps on my left, and then match it on my right side. Remember, the key points, once you're in the position, you're gonna keep that intra-abdominal pressure. You're gonna be pushing your knees out a little bit so you can keep that pressure and it doesn't cave. You're gonna be pressing into the ground. Your one arm that's extended is gonna be pushing towards the sky as your other one comes down and then pushes back up. Recalibration breath. Tuck the shoulders. Look up towards the ceiling. Make sure you're pushing straight up. Wasn't able to match it. I tired out. So I'm gonna do a little rest pause. Give myself 20 seconds to recalibrate. Go back in and finish those last 3 reps. One. All right, after my incline dumbbell chest press, I always like to move into a chest fly. Preferably the machine. I feel like I get the most contraction, the best feel on that one. So we're moving into this. Whenever I start my next exercise, again, I start with 60% of my working weight. I do about 8 to 10 reps. And then I get into my working sets, 3 or 4 sets. Are you still on this one?
We're working.
All right, cool. So you're still competing?
Yeah, I just competed on November 18th, and I'm going to Pittsburgh in July.
How'd you do?
Now, I came first place in 2 of my classes, second place in 1.
There you go.
Men's physique first place, bodybuilding first place, classic physique second. I really want first place in classic, but then we're going to Pittsburgh in July. Probably compete in men's physique and classic.
Okay, sweet.
And efforts to get my national pro card.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's my goal.
What's the? Is there like an age group that you fall into, or
over 60?
Okay.
You know, so
are you all natty, or are you? Here we go. We're getting into our working set. I like to keep my right side pinned back, my left side free, able to move, stretch it, and then squeeze. Stretch it and squeeze. Make sure your chest is upright. You're not concaving, so you're not getting too much of your shoulder action. Keep that elbow in line with your wrist and push straight through. What I like to do is push my feet down into the ground and away from me so that I can drive my back into the pad and have more leverage to push away from my chest and make sure I get that contraction. Feet planted, pushing away so I can be pushed up against this backrest. And then my right side. Now you don't want to extend your arm out too far where you have a straight arm. You're going to be getting too much of your shoulder and you're not going to have the leverage to engage your pec. So when you're coming in closer towards your chest and your way back, keep that a little bit more of an angle with your elbow. And then as you come back out towards the top, you can straighten it out a little bit, like this. You come, tuck it in a little bit, get that stretch on the pec, and then push it back out. After my sets, I like to squeeze my blood inside the pecs. Make sure I really feel that chest engaging. Tire it out. Get a full mind muscle connection after every single set. Get that pump, feeling good. This is really going to give you a lot of practice with your mind muscle connection. If something's feeling a little bit off, if you're engaging the muscle the wrong way, or if you're concaving and cutting down the space in your shoulder, you're going to feel that once you flex. So open up, get that air inside of you, expand, keep your chest up, and make sure when you squeeze, you're feeling your entire pec all the way up to the upper pec towards your collarbone. Squeeze that. One of the biggest things for my breakthrough was I had a ton of shoulder problems. That was like my main thing with the scoliosis.
I have a shoulder problem.
So my main thing was I used to sleep on my shoulder with my arm up under like that 8 hours a night, and that was causing most of my issues. As soon as I fixed my sleeping position, my shoulder was able to recover.
That's how I sleep.
Yeah.
Like that.
You gotta tuck a pillow underneath your rib cage so it relieves some pressure on your shoulder. So once I fixed that, then I just needed to release some muscle, so I used the lacrosse ball, and I would sit on that for like 4 hours a day, breathing 6 seconds out, 4 seconds in, so that my body was able to relax, and those muscles release for me really well. All right, we're getting into our third exercise. I'm gonna be moving into more of a flat chest press, maybe a little bit of a decline press. Not too sure, but this one feels really good. I love this machine. Again, we're gonna be going 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Again, you wanna keep a neutral grip. Make sure your elbows stacked behind your wrist and push straight through. Definitely feeling the chest. Striations are coming in, the pumps there. We got 1 or 2 more exercises, then we're gonna be moving into some tricep movements. Now to make sure that my elbow is stacked behind my wrist, I like to take my elbow and twist it inwards, in towards my body, internal rotation. As I pull it back, I make sure that it's tucked in and then press out. Again, keeping that neutral wrist the entire time. Again, keep that elbow tucked toward your body and press away. Here are some key tips to know whether or not you're doing something correctly or incorrectly. In the past, when I was experiencing pain, I kind of knew which pain was good and which pain was bad. If you're experiencing a sharp, burning sensation during any of your exercises, during any of your movements, make sure to stop the exercise immediately. That 1 extra rep could be the rep that really puts you over the edge and hurts you and causes injury. So make sure that if you're experiencing any sharp or burning pain, stop the set, drop the weight. If dropping the weight doesn't fix the problem, just change the exercise completely. Don't continue to try to do that exercise. Maybe you don't have the functional range of motion to be able to do that exercise yet. Maybe you just need to do a little bit more stretching in your off hours to be able to have that functional range of motion. Maybe that movement just isn't optimal for your frame, for your structure, for your scoliosis that you have. So if you're having problems, if you're experiencing pain during movement, make sure to stop the movement and change it up. The pain that you should be looking for is considered to be a fatigue. So when your muscle is completely exhausted, it's gonna tire out, you're not gonna be able to perform another rep, but it's completely different than a sharp burning sensation from performing an exercise or a movement improperly. So make sure you know the difference between an excruciating, burning, pinching sensation and fatigue where you're just burning out and really exhausting the muscle, because that's what you want to be doing. That's where you're going to cause lactic acid buildup and a stimulus to make that muscle grow. My 4th exercise that I'm going to do is an exercise that I really utilized when I was having problems with my shoulder. This is able to make me dial in and understand which positions really caused me pain and which positions really were comfortable for me. So one of my biggest takeaways when I was in a lot of pain was that I never wanted my elbow to come behind my rib cage. Every time I felt like my elbow came behind my rib cage, I would start to feel more of a pinch or more of a stretch in my shoulder, which was not a good thing. If anything, it caused me to tighten up. It wasn't helping me grow. So, biggest takeaway, make sure that elbow doesn't come behind your rib cage if it's causing you problems. Keep it in line with your rib cage, bring it up a little bit, and do a fly across the chest. The main function of the chest is to bring your elbow from the side of your rib cage out in front. This is gonna activate your chest muscles. It doesn't have to go all the way back. Once you do that, you're gonna be putting too much stress on your shoulder. Again, side in line with your rib cage to the front. I'm gonna try to get a good angle for you guys on this one. What I like to do is just to play it safe. If anything, step behind the cable a little bit. Keep it out in front. Right now, I think it's a little too low, so I'm gonna put it up a little higher. All right, that feels a lot more comfortable. I'm able to keep my elbow tucked in a little bit, engage that lat a little, make sure I feel my pec. I can feel it, it's engaged. Do a little split stance right here. Step aside, getting that tension. And again, you can literally keep an open hand with this. Bring that elbow across the front of your body. I like to keep my elbow in a little. Make sure I feel that chest contracting as I bring it across. If you look at my hand, it's literally completely open. I'm keeping all the tension on my chest. I'm pushing outwards. Now, if I was to step forward and keep my elbow behind my rib cage a bit, I already feel the stretch in my shoulder. It doesn't feel good. and I can literally only feel my shoulder doing the work. So make sure, if anything, you're in line with the cable. I like to be a little bit behind and then keep my elbow in front of me. Again, across the chest is gonna engage that pec muscle for you. It's a great isolation exercise to understand if you're doing something correctly or incorrectly. You're gonna feel that pinch if it's not in an optimal position. Make sure to move around, test things out. Don't go too heavy. Make sure you can move that. You can always up the weight if you think it's a little bit too light to find that tension that's proper for you. But again, make sure you're avoiding any pinches, any burning sensations at all costs. And keep that elbow in line with your rib cage or in front of you. I'm gonna go right side here, right in front. Split stance, and again in front of me. Chest up. Elbow to the side of the body, and then in front. I'm not saying this is the best exercise to grow your chest. I would just utilize this exercise to understand the positioning of your elbow in terms of your rib cage and to feel what feels good for you and what doesn't. I hope you guys enjoy this one. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys are requesting any types of exercises, any types of videos, make sure to drop them down in the comments. Let's make some gains. I hope that these are inspiring. There's a lot more to come. Let's go.